It's been about, I'd say 30 minutes or so, and the 3 box cars, the clear coat is almost ready. It's in the drying station. But while we're waiting, let's preview what the next step is. The next step will be to put on the decals, which I cut and everything's ready right here. And we'll talk about decals in a little bit. But while we're waiting, after we get the decals on, we're going to use something that is known as Liquid Talent. And that is one of these Citadel shades. And what I have here is I pulled this Athearn boxcar out of my pile of trade show boxcars. And I washed it. It was dirty. I'm going to apply this sepia to this yellow boxer. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I have an idea. I chose this one because it's a little bit lighter. This is one of the Liquid Talents. Now, the Liquid Talent, that is, when people say Liquid Talent, most of the time they're talking about this. Agrax Earth Shade. This is kind of the main Liquid Talent. But I'm going to try one that's a little bit lighter. And I'm going to see what happens on this boxcar. So as you can see, it's basically untouched. And one of the things I'm going to do is kind of a no-no, is I'm going to go right from this thing, which is okay, except for the fact that I have spilled these before. So a lot of modelers, they make something to set this in so you can't knock it over. So I'm going to very carefully try not to knock over my, what they call the pot here. Okay, and I picked the brush. The brush that I'm watching them use is one of these dark-haired brushes. So I'm going to try that. And we're going to see what happens to this boxcar when I apply this sepia shade. So I'm going to get a little bit on my brush. Okay. And I know it needs to flow. So I'm going to have to start from the top. And basically, you try to get it on here. And while it's still liquid, then you're going to work it around. We get a whole bunch on here. And we want to let it flow to wherever it's going to go. So if I get it all in here, and I'm just working it in. I'm going to get flow. I want it to flow off the sides, like as if it had been rained on. Okay. So I got it on the top. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the sides. First I'm going to get it on here. And I'm going to let it flow. I got to work fast because I want it to flow down, not side to side the way I'm doing it. I want it to flow down, and I want it to get into all the places. And I want to try to get my, as it starts to set up, which it sets up real quick, I want it to look like it's flowing down. And I don't want to let it pool on these ladders too much. Yeah, I want to try not to pool in too many places. And I got a little distilled water, just a touch, and that'll help me let it flow. Now I have used also alcohol with this. I'll tell you what, if you use alcohol when you're doing this, it will set really fast. You have to work super fast if you're going to do that. Okay, now I've got it on here. Now I'm going to try to get it out of these obvious places where it's pooling. Get it out there and get it down to the bottom. See if I can get it out and get it down to the bottom. As long as I keep it liquid, it'll keep running down the way I want it to. And I don't want too much there. Okay. Not too much on the ladder. A little more on the grill. Okay. I'm going to call that side good. Now I'm going to give it, I want to give it a little bit. Let it keep flowing. Okay, now there's my effect. I don't know if you can see the difference that made, but it did make a difference. So I want to be careful and not to, while it's still flowing, I don't want to tilt this in a way that I don't want it to. So let's take a look at the top. Take a little bit of distilled water and let's clean up some of these top spots here. It's got some pooling going on, and that's okay. We let it pool naturally. I'm trying not to get what looks like water spots. And I'm using my distilled water to make that happen. And I want it to flow more. Okay, I got a little water spot here. If I rub my distilled water in there good, it comes out. I get my water spot out. Let it flow. There's my top. I don't know if you can see the effect that had. Kind of a good effect. Okay. Now I should let this sit before I do the other side, but for the sake of this experiment, let's just go ahead and do it. Let's just go ahead and get it on there. Get it all in this door. Let's get it everywhere. Oh, there's a train coming. Okay, now I'm take just a little bit of water. See if I can't run out. I don't want bubbles. Okay, the ends, just gonna paint a little bit on. The ends are really dark, so I'm just gonna paint it on so that the finish matches, and I'm gonna leave it alone. Alright, do we like the way this looks? I see a pooling spot up here. Oh, and I got a brush here. Take my distilled water. Before it's set hard, I can get some of these pooling spots. And I want. All right, we lost power on the main camera. Let's go back up here. How does it look? This is what we used. Okay. Does it look interesting? I'm going to have to say that it does. It looks very interesting. And it looks like I'm really good. But I'm not. All I did was use liquid talent. Now, if you tried to do this with another method, oils, or I like to use this panel liner. Panel liner takes a lot of work though. Panel liner is outstanding. I mean, that stuff is amazing. But it's not even close to being as easy as what we just did. So, boxcars are about ready for decals. And so far, we're looking right on track. if this is what's going to happen to our boxcar, and actually our boxcar, the shade we are going to use is this dark green stuff. And I don't know what's going to happen. I have an idea, but something's going to happen. Might turn out like total crap, but we'll see. I think we're on the right track. Now, how long did that take me? Was that 5 minutes? Took me 5 minutes to do that? The key is to not panic. Do not panic when you're doing it. Just keep it liquid, let it flow. I mean, that top, you can see some pooling, but that is the way a top naturally would look. We could dull coat this, but I kind of like it a little on this shiny side. Now this stuff here is kind of a natural dull finish. So we're going to get a different effect. We're going to find out in just a little bit.